Welcome back to Like Anime with me, George, and our co-host, Tony.
The coma.
Tony the
Last
Coma.
name withheld.
The Comatose. I don't know what that means. Hey, Tony.
That was actually my nickname, Tony the Coma.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you that scary?
No, it's
Or you
because
were in a coma?
yes, it's because when my friend's band would practice, I would sometimes fall asleep during band practice, like next to a drum set, basically, which normally you wouldn't be able to sleep next to.
Yeah, like to like a bass drum, just like
But
pounding.
yeah, just pounding right in my ear, basically. Yeah, I just take a quick nap, you know.
Nice. My first concert was to Rod Stewart when I was about 11, and we had nice seats, pretty close, and he was delayed coming out. But by the time he came out, I just fell asleep in my chair, and I still get crap about it. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. So speaking of being in a coma, we're gonna talk about some.
Okay.
I'm segueing with what I got, man. I mean,
Yeah. Speaking of being in a coma, have you read any news about people in anime being in a coma? No? Well, then what news is there?
I know. There's none of this is good news. We need something more spicy, titillating.
Spicy news.
Welcome back to Spicy News. We have a big news story to talk about, and I'm wondering if I should build up to it, or if we should, because I got some other things that are of note, I think. But
I don't know. Now that you've teased it, I think you have to leave it till later.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, let's see what we got. We'll run through some things. Not everyone's going to care about these things, Tony.
Does that mean I'm not going to care about these things? Is that what you're saying?
You might not care about all of them. Like this one, you won't care about.
Okay.
They've announced the new Demon Slayer arc is going to be coming out this year. Highly anticipated, off the heels of the Mugen Train movie. And there's no release date, but Funimation, once again. Yeah, it's supposed to come out sometime this year. So look forward to that.
You're
I'm
right.
excited.
You're right. I don't care.
I'm right. So we got that if you're into Demon Slayer. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. I got into it. Tony tried it, and it just kind of bored him in the first 3 episodes, which is fair. It's it's not grabbing you. Why force it?
Have you ever watched someone punch a rock for an entire episode?
It was actually 6 episodes. They really
A 6-episode arc of just punching a rock. I guess it could have been worse. You're right.
It wasn't like Dragon Ball Z levels of rock punching. But yes, there is the 3rd episode, I believe, is the rock episode where he's
He punches a rock for the whole episode.
It's not the entire episode. I think there's some time dilation going on because I rewatched it recently. I was showing a buddy some Demon Slayer, and it's about
it was only 20 of the
it's about half
24
the
minutes.
episode.
Once you take away the opening credits and the ending credits, yeah, it's the whole episode.
Yeah, and
but
the first half. Another news item we got. This actually just came out. It's a live action, but it's a live action adaptation of Rurouni Kenshin. But it takes place before the anime, so it's when he was a manslayer during the war.
So it's like a prequel to the live action adaptations.
Yes.
Huh.
And so I guess essentially it would be like a live action adaptation of Trust and Betrayal, also known as Samurai X in the States, which was a badass movie. I put it up for movie night, if you remember that. But
Don't remember it.
oh, okay. So yeah, I'm curious about that. Any Kenshin fans out there? Next, you might care about this one. I don't know. There's a Pokemon live action series in development at Netflix.
Sounds terrible.
I'm curious. I don't know. I feel like there's some potential there. I never actually saw the Detective Pikachu movie, with Ryan Reynolds voicing him.
I did.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it was going to be, considering. But it was, yeah, it wasn't really a Pokemon movie. It was just a movie that had Pokemon as sort of the background world of, I don't know.
Yeah. Aside from Pikachu, right? But they're kind of creating a specific.
Yeah, but if they weren't Pokemon, they could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't so entrenched in the world and mythos of Pokemon and.
Correct.
Yeah. almost like just an everyday life, but we just have Pokemon, but nothing else is different.
Yeah, it was sort of like a dystopian Blade Runner-esque future.
Oh, okay. It did. The
Sort
trailer did
of.
seem kind of dark and like visually, just kind of like grays and
Yeah.
alleyways and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. It was all right. So this live action is going to be of what?
So Joe Henderson is the writer and executive producer, and he was the producer and co-showrunner of Lucifer, which I never saw. I know people like that show, which is also live action, not anime. But yeah, we don't know much else. It's in early development, and Netflix, they feel like they're more tight-lipped than most other studios. So yeah, I don't know. We don't know much, but they say it's happening.
Huh. All right.
We'll see. What else we got here? I mean, the new My Hero movie came out, and it's most shonen action movies such as this one have nothing to do with the main plot,
Right.
and they're just kind of like a filler thing.
Yeah.
But it's doing really well. It's grossed 940 million yen in the first 4 days, which I think was slightly, or it was double, or no, it was 200% more than the previous one, I guess. But I don't know if that's just because of off the heels of, well, not really off the heels of COVID number one. People are excited to get back in the theater. I don't know if it has something to do with that, but I guess okay. So, have you ever gone to an anime convention?
No, not specifically anime.
Like you've been to Comic-Con
Yeah.
and stuff like that?
Uh-huh.
I went to one specific anime convention years ago, but they had, I thought it was interesting. They had Otakon, which took place in DC. I don't think it was always in DC. I think it was in Baltimore first, but now it's in DC. But it's supposedly the first convention that has been in DC since the start of COVID. But it was pretty impressive. They had attendance of over 25,000, and in 2019, pre-COVID, it was 28,000.
Oh.
And this one didn't have any overseas people. Like it was just domestic attendance. And I was like, dang, that's pretty impressive.
So we're going to see a big spike in Delta.
Yeah, in the DC area.
In all of the otaku out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I did read that there was a mask mandate, and you had to wear your mask like pretty much everywhere unless you were eating or giving a lecture, or it said if you were cosplaying and you were taking photos, you could take it off. But and I heard online that people like were good, respectful for the most part. Of course, you always have peanut gallery, but
Yeah. Like Vegeta Fan 69, he was probably there without a mask on.
probably
Sounds like the kind of guy that would not wear a mask. Speaking of conventions, is the Crunchyroll Expo in your news list at all? Because apparently that happened.
Did it? I heard something
But
about it.
it was virtual.
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the only thing I heard about it was there's a couple of shows that are coming out next season that they premiered the first episodes of, I guess.
I did hear that. Yeah, that was on my radar, and there was a lot of virtual cons, in the wake of COVID. But I don't know. I haven't tried one, but it just seems like maybe it would be good. I don't know. It just seems like kind of lame, but
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've watched the Crunchyroll Animation Awards, I can't imagine that the production value is better than that.
yeah,
That's probably like their top end production value. So,
for real. And I guess that's a good segue as any to get in. I mean, I have a couple we can talk about after, but it's a good segue with Crunchyroll. Sony has done it. They have acquired Crunchyroll for $1.1 billion.
All right.
It's finalized. They see like both Crunchyroll and Funimation put out statements about it, both saying blah blah blah, like we care about the fans, and we're gonna have the biggest selection ever and all this stuff. But no word yet of like what the specifics are, because we talked about this last week, I think, with all your Funimation issues and all. I'm sure anyone listening to this who has ever used Funimation has had problems with it, the app specifically. Or the website.
All of it, really.
Any online interaction with Funimation is usually poor. But yeah, so we had talked last week, hoping that if that happened, they would kind of get their shit together and have a nice app. Either port everything over to Crunchyroll. You were talking about like just having the dubs on Funimation because you don't care about them, and
Yeah.
then having everything else on Crunchyroll.
I'm imagining that's what they're going to do because they did that partnership thing before where
Yeah.
Crunchyroll and Funimation sort of partnered up and got all of these shows, and Funimation got the dubs and
hmm
Crunchy got the subs. And
And even right
I'm
now,
guessing that's what's going to happen.
well, I don't know. I wonder. But even right now, like I noticed, Miss Kobayashi, the new season, is on Crunchyroll, or subbed, in Japanese. But
Hmm.
then I noticed Funimation started posting just the dub of it, so just the first episode of the dub is available, and so that's kind of what they used to do. But yeah, I want see. I mean, I get the argument that like they can make more money if they keep them separate, and like maybe put out like a bundle package you could get where you could maybe save money.
I mean, that's sort of what Crunchyroll had with VRV anyway,
Yeah.
was, bundle a bunch of stuff together and save money. So
Mm.
I guess maybe Funimation will get added to that.
Maybe.
I
But
don't know.
does Crunchy do the VRV thing? I mean, were they owned by the same company or was it just like, I don't know, just like a partnership?
I think VRV was created by Crunchyroll, but I might
Oh,
be
okay.
wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I never got into VRV, so I um never really knew much about it. I'm looking it up real quick. Let's see.
They've got like Rooster Teeth, and I think
Okay.
High Dive's on there, and
Its parent
maybe
company
they
is
have College
Crunchyroll.
Humor. Oh, it is.
So
Okay.
now Sony owns that as well.
Yeah. All right.
All right, interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I am in it doesn't make the most fiscal sense for them, but I would love it if it was just like maybe keep both, but just I don't know, have everything on, one thing would be nice. I mean,
I mean, that would be ideal.
yeah.
Have just all the anime on the one thing, but then you've got sort of a monopoly issue there where,
Yeah, but we already have that either way, right? Because whether they separate, whether they keep them separate or combine them, they still own like. Because I was thinking about it, like Netflix, they acquire like a lot of heavy hitters. I don't think this season anything went into Netflix jail that I'm aware of. Like
mm,
no, from this
yeah,
proper season.
I don't know.
But they get, there's another thing I was going to bring up. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, the new Stone Ocean, is coming out in December this year, and Funimation, or not Funimation, Netflix has like the worldwide distribution rights to that, which is kind of crazy to me. But it's like outside of Netflix, I mean, Amazon used to get things, and I don't think they really do get new stuff anymore. And then High Dive will get some things, but not a lot of new stuff either. So it's
Mm.
like funny outside of
And then,
Funimation and Crunchy, it's like it's most of it.
yeah, the new stuff that High Dive gets isn't exclusive or anything, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they just have like limited streaming rights for it or something.
yeah,
Yeah, for a certain amount of time or something.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know how to feel about it. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't happen because the whole deal was held up in um, a lot of just I don't know whatever was going on with that. I remember reading about it months ago, but I
Mm.
forget the details. But whatever, they made it work somehow.
Well, it had to be approved by someone, the FTC or something, probably.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
Yeah.
Because of, anti-monopoly laws, and
Mm.
are they going to own such and such percentage of the market for whatever it is that they're marketing, I guess. Which, I mean, they kind of do, but there are other streaming services, and I mean, I guess
Yeah.
Amazon's not really doing it anymore, but Netflix is picking up more animation, so they're taking a bigger share of the anime
That's
market.
true.
And
And
High
it's
Dive still exists. I don't know.
and it's not like Funimation and Crunchyroll, it was still like a bidding war or like there was still competition each season of, who's getting what. So it's not
Right.
like they had just like a, carte blanche to just get everything.
Right, which now they do.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, like they just have Netflix to contend with unless someone else steps in there and throws their weight around. But like,
Yeah.
you'd have to be a pretty big company.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing or not.
Yeah. At least the one good thing would be if they could just make the Funimation app, either get rid of it, make it work, make it like Crunchyroll.
Yeah, like I was saying last week, they should just take the Crunchyroll app and, color it purple.
Yep.
That's
There
it.
you go.
That's all they really need to do.
And I saw some people online talking in my, my Twitter sphere of, I don't know, something I had not considered, but I guess Crunchyroll has never been good at with the credits of the shows, crediting like all these people that work on it. You know, people that subtitle it and people that translate, and I don't know,
Yeah.
all the work that goes into it. Not just on the the production side, but like everything afterward.
Oh.
Um, Not a huge concern of mine, but I didn't realize, didn't pay that close of attention. But I guess by comparison, Netflix is really good at that. Like they always have, the end, all those different
Mm.
credits kind of going forever, like the black and
Yes. Yeah.
white, which can be annoying, but it's cool for those people to get credited. So yeah, I don't know. It's peculiar there. What else we got? There's some Pokemon Go news. I was curious if you had heard about any of this, but
No.
you don't play anymore, probably.
No.
No, neither do I. But supposedly, because they had increased the distance to reach like gyms and stuff during COVID.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, okay, and then I guess recently they,
Unincreased.
yes, they reverted it back. So it was. This is saying it was 40 meters in U.S. and New Zealand, and they increased it to 80, and now they've put it back to 40, and like supposedly people are pissed, and now they're looking into it.
Huh.
And I wonder if it's like, because I feel like some of the complaints are due to COVID and stuff, like we're trying to be distanced and stuff, but I also wonder if a lot of it's just laziness, like you got used to it, and
it's people that live close to gyms
Mm.
or Pokestops that were able to reach them, and now they're not. They're like,
Yeah.
I have to go out of my house to do it. Ugh.
And then it was all, yeah, that's true. I mean, we have a buddy who I think still plays, and yeah, I haven't heard him complain about this yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Well, he doesn't live close enough to any of the stops or anything.
I thought he could hit a gym from his, maybe not.
From the house? No.
Interesting.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, I mean,
Can't think of anything that's within 80 meters of that house.
yeah, I guess that's too short. Yeah, and really, you talk at between 40 and 80 meters, like that's not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doubling it, but still, it's not that great of a distance.
I mean, I guess it makes sense in a more congested area. You don't have to get as close. Like if there's a lot of people that are in that area, you
Like
can
downtown, or something. Yeah,
maybe, but I don't know.
I also read that Niantic, they like monitor like different like it's seemingly like they monitor like different parts of the world and by the news of like their COVID numbers and stuff, and they like kind of change things like. I don't know, like if their numbers are low, they'll encourage more, going outside and active playing. I was like, that sounds like a full-time job, like just that alone, trying to keep up with all that, like across the entire world. But yeah. Yeah, I just got two more things on here. We have Masaki Yuasa, who I'm very fond of. He's done things that you don't care for. Devilman Crybaby. He did Ping Pong the animation, and he did Keep Your Hands Off Azakin. But he's got a new movie coming out. It's called Inu-Oh, and 2022 coming out.
Dog King.
Guess so. I knew Inu.
Oh, O-U, right?
O-H.
Oh well, yeah.
Same thing.
A different way to a different
Just
way
a
to
stylized.
Romanize it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah. Oh, I think it's King. What's the kanji look like? Does it look like a capital I with a line through the middle and then a little thing on the bottom right? The second one. The first one's Inu.
Yes, I think maybe. Is it this?
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't have the thing down there. I thought King had the thing down there. But yeah, Inu. Oh, I think.
It's mostly what you described.
Yeah, it doesn't have the little thing down in the bottom right. Maybe I'm remembering that kanji wrong.
It needs a thingy, a dingaling.
Yeah.
But supposedly this is a musical anime film. I don't know what that means. If it's like, okay,
Non-diegetic singing.
yeah, or like about musicians or about something like that. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I like
I don't
him.
know. Yeah, I heard about that a while ago. I
Oh,
think
did
it's
you?
been on my watch list for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this
To check it out anyway.
I think this article came out July 26th, but it was just saying that it's going
Mm.
to get an early summer opening next year.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I don't remember when I heard about it. Like a month ago, though. I think
hmm.
probably when it was first announced or something,
Yeah.
maybe, or I don't know.
I remember seeing the name too. Yeah, and he's interesting. You know, like he's made so much stuff, and there's a lot of older stuff that people love that I haven't seen. Like he did Tatami Galaxy
Oh, that's on my watch list too.
too.
Just
Yeah,
haven't got to it.
love to see that. And there's a couple others I forget now. But he's so interesting to go from like ping pong to Devilman Crybaby to, to Azakin. Like I don't know. And then like Ride Your Wave he did, and he did the Night is Short Walk On Girl.
I've seen that too.
Yeah. So he's and Mind Game, which is
I've also
freaking
seen
weird
that.
as hell. But like they're all kind of different. I mean,
Yeah.
There's not really like it's not like a Miyazaki or
Wait, is that the Tokyo Godfathers?
no,
Or-
that's
a different
Satoshi
okay.
Kon. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
His are quite different too, but he had a early death.
Mm. But he did weird things too. That's what
Yes.
I
Oh
was-
yes, very strange. I could see some overlap.
Mind
there.
Game and Tokyo Godfathers, for some reason, occupy the same space in my mind.
Interesting. I'd see more like Millennium Actress, and which the same guy did that Satoshi Kon and Perfect Blue. Like those are both more out there to me. Where Tokyo God, I mean, that's about the three homeless people. Yeah,
I think maybe it was just that I saw them both around the same time, and that's why they occupy the same space in my brain.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did. We used to have an anime night where we would make sushi and three of us and watch anime. Yeah, and those are around the same time.
Well, three of us didn't make sushi, but three of us ate it.
Yep. I didn't
and
make
watched
it.
anime.
I am not good at making sushi. I tried, and everyone agreed. Don't do that ever again.
I don't remember that.
Okay, well, that's just my self-esteem talking, or lack thereof. But that was fun. I guess we effectively turned anime night into a podcast, and here we are. I just got one more news thingy, and that won't interest you at all.
Oh, good. Save the worst for last.
Oh no, I guess I already said this.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, because I brought up Miss Kobayashi. Yeah, it's getting a dub, and I'm excited. I like the dub cast of that show. I like that show. It's good. Not great, but good. And yeah.
I mean, you only sort of brought it up as ancillary content in one of the other news things, but
That's true. I didn't give it its own shine.
yeah. So that's all you got? You don't have one more news?
Well, we do have a couple shows to drop.
That's true.
So we're not done quite yet.
I mean,
but,
that's not news in and of itself, but
No, that's true. But
let's see what other news is there.
I was going to bring up while you're thinking the discotheque, because they're licensing some stuff, and they do really good transfers, and they go to great lengths to include all of this extra content that's all relevant. And they do a lot of older shows. Project ACO they have coming out soon. Looks pretty cool. And then there's a show called Gunbuster, which I've never seen. I think it's from like the late 80s. And it's probably like mecha related. I'm curious about that. And
it's like Little Busters with guns.
Yeah. Are you in?
I would check that out, I guess.
No, I'm not sure. I think it's like a sci-fi thing, and I don't know much about it. Typical George fashion. If I haven't seen it, I got nothing.
Let's see. Hey, Google. Anime news.
I can check and see if there anything has been posted since I made this list.
Google's not telling me anything.
Idris Elba is teasing him playing Knuckles in the new Sonic the Hedgehog sequel film.
Okay.
How about this?
My Hero movie? Yeah, covered that. Yeah.
Yep. How about
Tokyo Otaku Mode has a giveaway for a Miku figurine that apparently they co-produced.
Hatsune Miku?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, that's it. That's all the news I got.
I feel like she used to be so hot, so big.
So hot, Tsune. Miku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like she's like not so hot.
I think she's still popular in
Yeah.
amongst the people that she was really popular with back then.
I guess
But your casual Miku fans have maybe dropped off a little bit, I guess.
the novelty.
Yeah.
I guess with all the VTubers and stuff.
Yeah, that's
too.
sort of where it's at now, I guess.
It's kind of a glut of that. If you're into that thing, there's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it.
But how about this? I thought, because we were talking about these episodes, these news ones are kind of chill, relaxed, and we're trying to make them a little longer, but still keep them interesting. This isn't related to anime, but I thought of this. What have you watched this week that's not anime? Since the anime is now homework.
Well, lately I've been rewatching Star Trek Voyager. I say rewatching. I've never really watched the entire thing. I watched some of it at the beginning and then bits and pieces throughout. But yeah, I'm on like season 5 of Voyager now.
Nice.
And then, yeah, the other things I watch I'm not going to talk about on the podcast.
Oh, tantalizing. You got to get on our Patreon for that. Nice. Star Trek Voyager, what season are you on?
5. I'm on
Okay.
5 now.
Is there many more?
I mean, I just finished 4. There's 7, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
you started that not too long ago, so you're
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
making your way through it.
Yep.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah, it starts off a little rough with, I don't know. There's some story issues that I have early on, but it gets better later. So, like
Nice.
the main story issue is that they're basically flung 60 million light years or something across the universe. It's going to take them 50 years to get home, and the whole first 2 seasons, I think, is them like not really doing much to actually get back, even though they say that's what they're doing. They stop at every planet they pass. They're like, oh, let's stop for a few days. Like it's going
That's
to take you
funny.
a lot longer if you stop every 3 days for check on some planet or I don't know.
I
Yeah,
wonder if the idea, like, 'cause in the beginning, they're like, well, it's going to take us 50 years. We might as well, do some sightseeing.
might as well just meander about.
As it's going on, they're like, no, we need to get our stuff together. Let's get this
Yeah.
plot going.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right on.
What about you?
I think you also mentioned Star Trek last week, but I mentioned this. I think it's this new show on HBO Max called F-Boy Island.
Oh yeah, you
And-
did mention that.
It is one of those trashy dating reality shows, a la The Bachelor.
That was in response to me mentioning Big Brother, probably actually.
Oh yes, I think so. Yeah, and what I got into it because I like Nikki Glazer and I brought her up. She's a stand-up comedian and she hosts it. There's 3 main girls on this, on the show, but then they have 24 guys and half of them are F boys, meaning they aren't looking for a long-term relationship, and the other 12 are quote-unquote nice guys, all self-proclaimed, right? But it's kind of fun because like at the end of each episode, each one of the girls will vote one of them off, and so then after they get voted off, they have to say what they were, what they came as, an F boy or a nice guy. And there was one earlier on where he was like, "Oh, I'm a nice guy," and then they were like, "Hold on," and then Nikki's like, she's like, "The producer is telling me we have footage of you like talking about your sexual exploits and clearly not fitting the nice guy." I don't know, it's funny. But it's kind of cool because it dropped 3 1 hour long episodes initially. So I was like, oh, cool. Just like, sometimes shows do that. And then the next week, I got 3 more.
Oh,
It's like 2 weeks. I got 6 hours of this show and I'm all caught up on it. And I never watched The Bachelor. I don't know why I'm so into it, but Nikki got me in and now I'm hooked. But it's kind of fun too because like once they get voted off, they're still part of the show. Like they're not in the competition anymore, but the nice guys get to go to this like really swanky like beach, resort or like beach house, and the F boys have to go to. It's like adjacent to it, but they're just on this like beach, like rocky beach with like a hut, and it's made to seem like they are just roughing it on the beach as punishment, but.
yeah. They're probably staying in the same hotel.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I guess with that we can get into the drop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll start with you.
All right. So I can't actually remember if I mentioned this show last week or not, or if we didn't get to it or anything. But Drugstore in Another World, The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. I have quit watching. I don't think I watched last week's episode. I didn't watch this week's episode. It's a fine show. It's cute. It's funny. It's just, as far as the podcast goes, there's not a whole lot to talk about. And it's not like super entertaining or anything. It's just, it's meh. And, you got 3 episodes, and I think it's episode 5 this week, which I haven't seen. But it's whatever. It's a fine show. If you like it, that's great. I kind of like it as well. I just don't like it enough to keep watching it.
Yeah, and that's important, especially when we're watching so many shows week to week, new shows. It's like something. Like this week, I started with what I was most anticipating, and by the time I got to the end of that list, I was like, oh. And that leads me to the show I'm dropping, unless you have anything else.
Nope.
And that is a show called The Idaten Deities, Know Only Peace.
I dropped that weeks ago.
You did, and you were like, why? Why?
Why are you continuing to watch this trash?
All your points were well taken, and they still ring true now. I guess I was just curious if it was, and I said this before, if it was going to have anything to say or incorporate something else. Because I like the way it looks. I like the stylized aspect of it, and I like the sort of, it's got this sort of like ADHD editing style. But unfortunately, the content and the characters, it's just not like they set up this whole like League of Villains thing, and they all have unique characteristics, and like there's a slutty one, and there's like a tsundere one, and whatever, a militant one.
I might have to start watching the show again.
But then like at the end of the third, or during the third episode, or at the end actually, they the League of Villains goes to like send two of their best to attack the main characters, and the one girl who's like hundreds of years old or whatever, she just like makes quick work of them. And so like the whole end of the episode is just like they were made a mockery of, and like it's a whole like comedic, and it wasn't that funny, but it was just like making light. And I'm like, well, it seems like you're trying to go for a more, not a super serious thing, but you're trying to establish some sort of dynamic that the viewers could get into, right? Like, but when you deflate like all of the villains like in your third episode, it kind of and again, it's not very funny. If it was, then I guess it'd be different. But but yeah, and then this fourth episode, I put it on, and I just I kept nodding off, and I'm like, all right, it's time to go. I don't really remember what happened in it, but
more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, you had said it's a show for teenage boys, and you're right. But
it's a boy for teenage shows.
It's a boy for teenage, and it's an F boy. This is not a nice guy. This is an F boy.
Yeah, you're right.
But that being said, I mean, there's shows that appeal to that demographic that are well made and stand up too. So, this isn't one of them. But yeah, I could see if I was like 13, like I would be into it way more.
You wouldn't care as much about the fact that this story is like just this really thin nothingness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have seen that slutty character.
You'd be like, oh, this looks really cool. Oh, and there's a girl with big boobs, and
It's almost like a fishing lure where it's like, shiny.
Oh, and they raped a nun. Nun rape.
It's got nun rape.
That's what gets me
on
going.
The watch list. 10 out of 10.
Who doesn't want to see a nun get raped? I mean, really.
But why is the nun getting raped?
Yeah, I mean, if they, I guess they did kind of go into that. Well,
sort of.
Not really, but...
Yeah, they just skimmed the surface. It almost felt like...
They went into why they didn't stop the nun from getting raped, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even know about it.
I think we've said rape too many times in this show already.
We've already been canceled.
Yeah, I think we're getting an X rating now.
I mean, it is an anime podcast.
I don't think that's a free pass.
It wasn't a free pass. I'm just saying it's hard to avoid sometimes. Not the shows we normally like, but we're trying to be thorough here. But yes, fair enough.
Was it? Oh, so I don't know if I should talk. I guess I can talk about this here instead of in Peach Boy. There is a character who is dressed like a nun. And every time I see her, I just think of the nun rape from Idaten. So
Great.
Idaten. I said it wrong.
I know. I always say. I always like before I say it. Like, all right, Ida.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why we're giving this show that much respect, but
I mean,
So if you like Itaden, and that's if Itaden's your favorite show, go buy Itaden merch and enjoy.
But if you like Idaten, then consider getting psychiatric help.
All right. Well, yeah, those shows are dropped. Drugstore and that show that I don't want to say again. They're gone. They're donezo. They're actually being canceled, not being produced anymore. We have that much power.
Yep.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, if you're upset about this or you have a compelling argument, fans of the manga are often in comment sections paratrooping in to make a stand. So if you got something, let us have it.
You think this manga has fans
that aren't 13-year-old boys?
Yeah.
Some boy out there. I mean, like, I'm 11.
I guess 13-year-old boys do sort of rule the internet. I mean, depending on where you go on the internet, but yeah. Anyway, as George said, that's going to do it for us. We've said all we have to say. We have nothing more to say except to say that we didn't say. You can find us on all the socials at @umlikeanime. That's UMLIKEANIME. Leave us a message. Tell us what you think. Do you like Idaten? Are you 13-year-old boy? Let me know.
Does Drugstore set up the main character's backstory in the manga?
Probably not.
Probably a light novel.
I was thinking about that. I had like some comparison, something that I watched that did exactly the same thing. Sunny Boy, which you love, doesn't set up any backstory for any of the characters, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So your argument on that is
it's a much different show.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying that we just sort of drop in to the action already in progress.
Yep.
In both of them. So I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know that it matters that much. But yeah, in Drugstore, it did feel like it was a little. I don't know. Yeah. Like isekais just don't normally do that.
Yeah. There's usually at least like a minute.
And I wouldn't call Sunny Boy an isekai, but I mean it is, as far as isekai meaning another world or different world or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's more of like a microcosm of real life versus a power fantasy or whatever fantasy.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I don't know what it is, but we'll get into that in the next episode. Yeah, so our next episode is coming out in a couple days, and you should check that out too. It's going to be super special.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be special, really. You're spoiling it.
Spoilers. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Yes, our next episode is coming out on Friday the 13th, so we might do something special for that, or we might not. You'll find out in a couple days.
You'll have to listen.
You have to. You are required by law now, because we've told you that you have to listen. If you don't, we will sue you.
You know what? We'll just see you
then. And we will win.
We'll see you then.
Or we'll see you in court.
Yes. We'll see you regardless. You can't get out of it.
Cue the music.